What happens if you brush your teeth with your left hand for 2 weeks? The answer might surprise you. Tell me about your changes in the comment section. What would happen if you brushed your teeth with your non-dominant hand for just 2 weeks? The answer might be far more dramatic than you'd expect. Researchers at MIT once ran an experiment asking volunteers to brush their teeth using their non-dominant hand. After 2 weeks, brain scans revealed something astonishing. Activity in the area that connects the brain's left and right hemispheres shot up by 40%. But the most shocking part wasn't the data. Participants themselves said it felt like they had been living life using only half of their brain. This discovery became one of the notable neuroscience findings of 2019. History offers striking examples as well. Leonardo da Vinci could draw with one hand while writing with the other simultaneously. Nikola Tesla took it even further. He deliberately trained himself to become ambidextrous, transforming from a natural right-hander into someone who could use both hands equally well. Historians have found that many cross-disciplinary geniuses, Da Vinci, Tesla, Michelangelo, shared a surprising trait. They didn't rely on just one dominant hand. They trained their brains to make both hemispheres work together. For them, this wasn't a party trick, it was a deliberate method of reshaping the brain, something modern neuroscience has only recently started to understand. Why switching hands feels so miserable. Your brain weighs only 2% of your body, yet burns 20% of your total energy. To save fuel, it runs as much as possible on autopilot. Using your dominant hand relies on well-wired neural pathways, so the brain barely has to work. But the moment you switch your toothbrush to the other hand, your brain panics. That awkward, clumsy, slightly infuriating feeling you get is not a coincidence, it's your brain sounding the alarm. MIT researchers call this the brain's emergency mode. You've broken your routine, and dormant brain regions are suddenly forced to power on. Emergency mode is extremely taxing. Scans show that for right-handed adults, simply being forced to use the left hand for daily tasks for 2 weeks causes the corpus callosum, the massive bridge connecting the left and right hemispheres, to spike in activity by 40%. Think of it as your brain's internal superhighway with 200 million nerve fibers. When life runs on autopilot, that highway is almost empty. But once you switch hands, instant traffic jam. Suddenly the two hemispheres must exchange far more information to coordinate those unfamiliar movements. And that's only the beginning. Your brain starts upgrading itself physically. To understand what happens next, you need one concept: neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire and rebuild itself. You might think the adult brain is fixed, like concrete. It's not. It's more like clay. When you force yourself to fight through the clumsiness of using your non-dominant hand, your brain begins producing something called myelin insulation for your neural wiring. If that sounds abstract, picture this. Your original neural pathways are like old copper phone lines, slow, fragile, and glitchy. Myelin, on the other hand, is like upgrading those cables to fiber optic. Stanford researchers found that myelinated neural pathways can transmit signals up to 100 times faster. And this upgrade is permanent, just like learning how to ride a bike. That moment when you feel frustrated or awkward, that's the moment myelin is forming. It's the brain equivalent of muscle fibers rebuilding after a workout. The benefits go way beyond hand skills. Oxford neuroscientists discovered that the effects of myelin production don't stay isolated to motor areas. They ripple outward into neighboring regions, including the prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making, abstract thinking, and emotional regulation, and the hippocampus, your brain's memory center. Stanford found that non-dominant hand training can even trigger neurogenesis, the creation of new neurons in the hippocampus. Normally, this only happens when learning a new language. But switching hands speeds up the same process. Harvard and Yale researchers later found that people who regularly use both hands tend to come up with 25% more solutions when tackling complex problems. Why? Because you're no longer approaching problems using only one hemisphere's strengths. You're engaging both logic and intuition, detail and big picture. Einstein famously said that imagination, not knowledge, is the true sign of intelligence. The moment you break routine is exactly when imagination wakes up. Try this right now. Raise your non-dominant hand. Try snapping your fingers. Or draw your name backward in the air. Feel that awkwardness? That brain freeze moment? Cambridge researchers call this deep encoding a rare state where the brain is forced to focus at maximum intensity. You can't zone out while writing your name backward with the wrong hand. This is why non-dominant handwriting has been shown to improve working memory by 18%. Benjamin Franklin practiced using his non-dominant hand every day, not for balance, but for this forced state of clarity. In a world where 90% of our actions run on habit and automation, deliberately creating discomfort is one of the last ways to stay mentally awake. So can regular people actually upgrade their brain? Yes, but start small. Don't try writing an 800-word essay with your left hand tonight. You'll quit immediately. MIT developed a simple protocol called the 20-minute rule. Here's the breakdown. Phase 1, Days 1-14, the beginner mode. Do only large, simple movements using your non-dominant hand. Brushing your teeth. Opening doors. Lifting a cup. Pressing elevator buttons. Using the TV remote. Accumulate 20 minutes per day. That's enough to activate neuroplasticity without overwhelming you. Phase 2, Days 15-21, fine motor control. Level up slightly. Use a spoon with your non-dominant hand. Draw circles or squares. Switch your computer mouse for 10 minutes. Phase 3, Day 22 plus, deep rewiring. Now try writing your name. Writing a short phrase. You'll notice a dramatic improvement compared to day 1. This is a marathon, not a sprint. If you feel intense frustration, shorten the session. This is training, not punishment. And the goal isn't to become an ambidextrous circus act, it's to regain conscious control over your body and break free from mental autopilot. So, are you ready to try it tonight? Pick up your toothbrush with the wrong hand. Feel the discomfort. That awkwardness is your brain waking up. That is the sound of neural pathways being rebuilt. That is, your brain upgrading its hardware. You're not born less capable. You simply may not have been taught how to grow your brain. Tonight, switch hands. 30 days later, you won't just brush differently. Your brain will work differently.